Can you hear me? Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Let's see. Am I showing up? Yeah, okay. I'm trying to see if there's a way for me to place everything up on my screen. Can you see it?
Yep. See it.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So we're gonna wait a few minutes and then we'll get started. Annabelle, do you think you could send the links for signing in and signing up in the chat?
Sure.
So I'm gonna apologize in advance. A lot of these slides are actually blank, like their pictures are on there. I'm gonna be adding the information that's supposed to be there, like the notes about them and the little biographies that I have for all of them. I just ran out of time and didn't put all of their information. I'm also going to be including a list of sources at the end, where you can find way more information about all these women and all these other women that aren't getting enough recognition in the field and statistics and all this other stuff. Yeah, the site is kind of started, but that'll all be available after the meeting, and it will be uploaded on the website more than likely by tonight. Yeah, so you'll be able to see all that. I also kind of wanted to get your opinions. Do you want to go in chronological order, or would you rather go from most recent to like oldest?
So reverse chronological order?
Yeah, reverse chronological. I couldn't find a word. It's like, what? I know there's a word. Chronological? Okay. I'm gonna wait a few more minutes and then I'll start. Okay, so I guess I'll get started. Today we're going to be talking about various women in tech. I'm going to start off by like showing you guys like some quick statistics. That will also be included in the sources where you can go do your own research with what I gave you about what's currently going on. So I'm missing the QR code for the link tree. That'll be up there by tonight. If you could please sign in if you haven't already, that'd be great. You get extra points for coming to ACM-W meetings. If you haven't signed up yet, you only need to do it once. So you should definitely do that. And most of you are probably on our Discord if you're here. So yeah, but that's also the QR code for our Discord if you need it. So these are our upcoming events. Monday at 5 p.m. we're going to be having a conference panel. We have one every spring semester that's pretty much going to be a bunch of, not a bunch, like a few of our members and e-board members that have been to conferences. You're going to be able to ask them questions about what they're like, what you can do there, and just get more information about them. Then on Thursday at 6 p.m. there's going to be the SIG ACT meeting. I don't know what they're covering right now, but I'll have that information also by tonight. You should definitely check them out. You do get points for going. And they are very resourceful, especially if you're in like discrete 1 or discrete 2 or CS1 and CS2. They're also looking at starting something on Tuesdays where they'll help you / guide you with the topics that are currently being covered in discrete. So they're in communication with your professors and they'll be able to help you with stuff like that. Then on Friday, February 19th at 5 p.m., we're going to have Women YouTubers in Tech panel. That's actually going to be really amazing. Indira's been working really hard on that one. And I highly recommend that you guys attend. Then on Friday, February 26th at 6 p.m., there's going to be the Intro to HTML / CSS workshop. I believe it's a 2-parter, or it's only going to be, Stephen broke it up differently, but this one should only be an hour. I think he plans on covering another section in JavaScript. It should either be an hour.
The JavaScript one's the next week.
Yeah, so JavaScript is going to be the week after. I don't remember if this workshop's going to be an hour or 2 hours. I believe it's an hour. But yeah, Stephen knows what he's doing. He works with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript all the time, and he's really resourceful when it comes to that. He's also the web and mobile dev director. So, well, the web dev director. So he knows what he's talking about. Yeah. So these are some quick statistics and facts. You'll be able to go and click on the link yourself. This is actually like a GIF, but I couldn't bring it in. So this is data from 2017 and 2018 for women in STEM in the United States. This is from 2019. So this is on the education side. So women that are completing their bachelor degrees, master's degrees, or PhDs, and then labor force, so when they're actually women that are employed in these fields. It's a better number than it was before, definitely, but if you do your research, you'll see that there's still a huge gap. You'll have access to, again, all of those links. I didn't really want to focus on that aspect because we normally have some sort of event that's like that. This was mainly to give women that aren't really recognized in tech some sort of like recognition. But yeah, these are some stats, fun facts, you know. So we're gonna start off with Ada Lovelace. You've probably heard this name before. She holds the title of first computer programmer in history. She was an English mathematician and she was a writer. She's widely regarded as the founder of scientific computing. In 1843, she published instructions for the world's first algorithm intended to be processed by a computer. Even though she wasn't alive when the first computer was built, she didn't get to see it happen. She was still given the title of first computer programmer in history. So yeah, that's Ada Lovelace. Then we're going to be moving on to Edith Clark. Edith Clark was amazing, honestly. She has a lot of firsts on her list, and I wanted to include all of them, but it's a very, very long list. So she was the first woman to be professionally employed as an electrical engineer in the US. She was also the first female professor of electrical engineering in the country. She worked as a computer for someone who performed difficult mathematical calculations before modern day computers and calculators were invented. That's what people who did that sort of thing were called. They were called computers. I just found that out. I didn't know that. Yeah, so that's a fun fact. She also was the first woman to deliver a paper at the Women Institute of Electrical Engineers. The first female engineer whose professional standing was recognized by Tau Beta Pi, and the first woman named as a fellow of the American Institute of Electrical Engineers. And she wrote the circuit analysis of AC power systems. So yeah, she's done a lot in her life. This was in between 1883 and 1959. So it was a while ago, but not too long ago. Then we have Elizabeth Smith Friedman. Again, I apologize. There's not any notes on there, but there will be tonight, promise. So she was an expert cryptanalyst and an author. She has been called America's first female cryptanalyst. I had a fun fact about her pulled up somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. So I found it really interesting. Hold on, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen real quick because I checked my whole desktop. There you go. So I had it written down and I forgot where it was. My bad about that. So present, share screen. Does it show up? No?
The same Google Slides as last time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So where is it? Let me see if I can find it. Where would it go? Okay. There it is. So oh wait, no, wrong place. About that. I have a lot of notes open. I'm sorry. There you go. So she was the founder. She was one of the founders of modern cryptography. She was the information security methodology. So she helped found the information security methodology that underpins everything from cybersecurity to digital surveillance. During World War II, she and her husband, so she introduced him to cryptography and cryptanalysis. They worked on code breakers spying on the Nazis and helped the Allied forces win the war. They intercepted messages and decoded them about what the enemy was up to. And for years, her husband was actually hailed as the sole creator of cryptanalysis and the field they pioneered together. Even though she introduced him to all of this, and he only started doing all this stuff after they got married. And then in 2017, she finally started getting recognition for what she actually did because they found all documentation, and Wired posted a piece about what she had done, and it became widely popular. Yeah, so that's why she made the list, because now she has recognition and people know about the work she's done. Margaret Hamilton, of course she's on here. How could she not be? So Margaret Hamilton was the director of software engineering division at MIT's instrumentation laboratory, which developed the onboard flight software for NASA's Apollo program. She later founded two software companies, Higher Order Software in 1976 and Hamilton Technologies in 1986, both in Massachusetts, Cambridge. She's published more than 130 papers, proceedings, and reports about 60 projects and 6 major programs. And she is one of the people credited with coining the term software engineering. In 2016, Hamilton received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Barack Obama for her work leading to the development of onboard flight software for NASA's Apollo moon missions. Oh my God, I can't read today. So yeah, that's Margaret. A lot of you have probably seen this picture. I was gonna put a more recent one, but I didn't think people would recognize her face if I put that. So again, in the links I'm gonna give you, you'll be able to see what she looks like now. Yeah. So we are going to be moving on to Eniac, well, the Eniac programmers. So Eniac is the electronic numerical integrator in computer. It was the first programmable electronic general purpose digital computer. It was Turing complete and able to solve a large class of numerical problems through reprogramming. Today, we're going to be talking about the 6 primary programmers that helped make this happen. I'm not going to go, oh my God, I'm not going to go into a lot of details about each of these women because there's 6 of them and there's also not that much information available on them for some reason. They all have Wikipedia pages, but there's very little on them compared to like the other names that are on here. So we're going to start off with Kathleen K. Mcnulty Mockley Antonelli. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Probably not. So she was an Irish computer programmer and one of the 6 original programmers of the ENIAC. She was a part of a small village, and she did something during the Irish War of Independence. It's not like really clear. She died at age 85, and she's mostly known for what she's done with the ENIAC. Where was it? So she was hired specifically to calculate bullet and missile trajectories at the Ballistics Research Laboratory. Yeah, so that's what she was primarily hired for. Now we're going to be talking about Jean Betty Jennings Bartik. She goes by Betty. A lot of these women went by Betty, but I don't know why she goes by Betty. Like, I looked everywhere, but I don't understand why that became her middle name. I mean, her first name or her nickname. She studied mathematics in school and then began working at the University of Pennsylvania. She was one of the first to manually calculate ballistic trajectories, and then using the, like, she was also hired to do the same thing as Kay, but hers was more specific on the ballistic trajectories. What else? So after her work on Eniac, she went to work on Binac and Univac and spent some time at variety technical companies as a writer, manager, engineer, and programmer. And then she later spent her years as a real estate agent and died in 2011. So yeah, there's really not much information about them. I wish there was more. Frances Betty Elizabeth Holberton. You may have heard this name more than the others. So again, she was one of the original 6 programmers. She invented breaking points in computer debugging. So that's why she's, I'm guessing, a little more famous than the other ones, even though they all worked on it together. So again, there's really not much. I'm trying to find the part. So after Eniac, she was made supervisor of advanced programming and a part of the Navy's Applied Math Lab in Maryland, where she stayed until 1966. And she also worked on the Binac, and she also participated in the development of early standards for the COBOL and Fortran programming languages with Grace Hopper. That's also why she is more known than the other women. Yeah. So Marilyn Westkoff Meltzer. She goes as Marilyn Welzer, but I put their full names in case like you end up seeing their names on the internet, so like that, you know, it's a familiar name. So she graduated from Temple University in 1942, and she was hired by the Moore School of Engineering to perform weather calculations originally, mainly because she was, at the time, one of the only people who knew how to operate an adding machine. And she was also hired later on to perform calculations for ballistic trajectories. Yeah, there's like nothing. She probably has the shortest amount. It's like the least amount of information on her. I wish there was more. I really do. So Frances V. Spence is also considered one of the first computer programmers in history. She isn't considered the first, she is considered one of them. So Ada Lovelace still holds that title. Where was it? She also went to Temple University. That's where she met Kay. Let's see. All she really did was work on the Eniac project. And then after that, in 1997, Spence was inducted into the Women in Technology International Hall of Fame, along with the other Eniac programmers. It took a while for them to enter the Hall of Fame, but they're there. And there's a documentary about her that was released in 2010. I'll also put the link to that. So Ruth Teitelbaum Lichterman. So she was born Lichterman, and then she got married and became Teitelman. On the internet, they use them interchangeably, so I put both names. That's why it's in parentheses. So she graduated from Hunter College with a bachelor's in math. She was also hired to compute ballistic trajectories. And that's really all there is about her. she worked on the Eniac, and then there's information about what she did, which you'll have access to later on. So Dr. Erna Schneider Hoover. She is known for inventing a computerized telephone switching method which revolutionized modern communication, according to many, many reports. It prevented system overloads by monitoring call center traffic and prioritizing tasks on phone switching systems to enable more robust service during peak calling times. She discovered this while she worked at Bell Laboratories, where she worked for like over 32 years. She is described as an important pioneer for women in the field of computer technology because of what she's achieved. And she's a mathematician. I don't know if I mentioned that. Katherine Johnson. So a lot of you might know this name. She's pretty famous. She was a mathematician whose calculations of orbital mechanics as a NASA employee were critical to the success of the first and subsequent US crewed space flights. She earned her reputation for mastering complex manual calculations and helped pioneer the use of computers to perform the tasks. What was it? NASA noted her the historical role as one of the first African-American women to work as a NASA scientist. So there's also like quite a bit about Katherine Johnson. So her calculations were essential to the beginning of the space shuttle program, and she worked on plans for the mission to Mars. In 2015, President Barack Obama awarded Johnson the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And in 2016, she was presented with the Silver Snoopy Award by NASA. There's also a movie that came out like recently, Hidden Figures. It's not recent, it's like 4 or 5 years ago. I highly recommend you see it. It's a really good movie. Yeah, so that's Katherine Johnson. Now we're going to talk about Grace Hopper. Well, Grace Brewster Murray Hopper. Yeah, so I get really excited when we talk about Grace Hopper. She was an American computer scientist and a United States Navy Rear Admiral. She is one of the first programmers of the Harvard Mark I computer. She was a pioneer of computer programming who invented one of the first linkers. Hopper was the first to devise the theory of machine-independent programming languages, and the flow-matic programming language she created using this theory was later extended to create COBOL, an early high-level programming language still in use today. And still in use here and there. So she got her PhD from Yale, and then she was a professor of mathematics at Vassar College. I thought Vassar College was under MIT. So there's a lot about Grace Hopper. I'm running low on time. Yeah, I'm gonna let you guys look into her. She's worth looking into, but I'm gonna move to like the more recent stuff. The US Navy Arleigh Burke class guided missile destroyer USS Hopper was named for her as the Cray XE6. I don't know how to read those symbols. Hopper supercomputer at NERSC. Hopper was awarded 40 honorary degrees from universities across the world during her lifetime, which is like insane to me. A college at Yale University was also renamed in her honor. In 1991, she received the National Medal of Technology, and in 2016, she was posthumously awarded Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Barack Obama. Oh, all these women getting medals. You'll love to see it. So we're now going to move on to Radia Perlman. Radia Perlman was an American well, she still is. I don't know why I said was. She's still alive. She's an American computer programmer and a network engineer. She is famous for the invention of spanning tree protocol, so STP, which is fundamental to the operation of network bridges while working for Digital Equipment Corporation. She also made large contributions to many other areas of network design and standardization, such as link state routing protocols. More recently, though, she invented the Trill protocol to correct some of the shortcomings of spanning trees. She's currently employed by Dell EMC. For someone who's done all this stuff, like there's not, again, a lot of information about her for some reason. Like, some of these women have a lot of information about them, and then others, there's not a lot available. But yeah, I'll definitely link everything I could find about her. Sophie Wilson. So Sophie Wilson is an English computer scientist who helped design the BBC Micro and ARM architecture. So she first designed a microcomputer during a break from her studies in college. And then she joined a company and was instrumental in designing the BBC Micro, including the BBC Basic Programming Language, whose development she led for the next 15 years. So she created it and then led the development of it for the next 15 years. Then she first began designing the ARM, Reduced Instruction Set Computer, RISC, my bad, in 1983, which entered production 2 years later. And now it's popular in embedded systems and is the most widely used processor architecture in smartphones. Wow, I cannot read for the life of me. Wilson is currently a director at the technology conglomerate Broadcom Incorporation. I've never heard of them. And then in 2011, she was listed in Maximum PC as number 8 in the article titled The 15 Most Important Women in Tech History. So yeah. And she was made commander of the British Empire in 2019, which I also thought was a cool fun fact. But like, I should throw in there. Lisa Su. So I don't know if many of you know her. She is the CEO of AMD. And I think that's really cool because I did not know that. She's been the CEO since 2014. Yeah. So she is a business executive and an electrical engineer who is the president and chief of AMD. She worked at Texas Instruments, IBM, Freescale Semiconductor, all of these in engineering and sometimes management positions. She's known for working, for developing silicone on insulator semiconductor manufacturing technologies and more efficient semiconductor chips during her time as vice president of IBM Semiconductor Research and Development Center. Where is it? Okay, so she currently serves on the boards of Analog Devices, Global Semiconductor Alliance, and the US Semiconductor Industry Association, and she's a fellow of IEEE, so Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. And then in 2017, she was named one of the world's greatest leaders by Fortune. And she's also gotten numerous awards. They don't have a number listed, but they say it's a lot. Fei Li. So I don't know if you've heard this name before, but Fei Li is kind of a big deal, especially in like AI research. She is currently the Sequoia Capital Professor of Computer Science at Stanford University. She is the co-director of the Stanford Institute for Human-Centered Artificial Intelligence and is a co-director of the Stanford Vision and Learning Lab. She served as the director of the Stanford Artificial Intelligence Laboratory, and she co-founded a nonprofit organization that increases diversity and inclusion in the field of AI. Her research expertise are mainly in AI, machine learning, deep learning, computer vision, and cognitive neuroscience. And what she is most known for is being the leading scientist and principal investigator of ImageNet. I'll also put a lot of information about ImageNet. ImageNet is pretty cool. You should learn about her in robot vision normally. I know we learned about her in robot vision, and also in robotic systems. Maybe she gets brought up, but I know she definitely does in robot vision, because she's a pretty big deal when it comes to computer vision. So Lauren Hassan. So a few of the next names that I'm going to bring up aren't big names. They're more recent, and I thought that we should give them recognition for some of the work that they've done, and the fact that they're doing a lot to help with diversity, inclusion, and tech. So Lauren Hassan, I couldn't find much. She doesn't have a Wikipedia page like the others do. She doesn't have, all I could find about her was her LinkedIn, Twitter, and the About page on her website. She's very new to the field. So she went to Duke University and triple majored in electrical engineering, computer science, and economics, and finished in 4 years. When I saw that, I was really impressed. That's amazing. She also got awarded a bunch of things while she was there. So Lauren built Developer, which is her company, to empower women in tech to ignite their potential and build their value. She has partnered with Google, Dell, Intuit, Armor, and other top companies, as well as universities like Indiana University. She's won multiple awards for her work in Developer and for her innovation. And she was invited to the United Nations to collaborate with Global Equals initiatives to bridge the global gender divide in technology. I wish there was more about her. The one thing that I see when I've read the articles about her is this little tidbit. So Developer was the result of Lauren's journey from rock bottom to a high profile globe leader in just 2 short years. She's grown massively over the last 2 years, which is good for her. Despite her Duke honors degree with her triple major in electrical engineering, computer science, and economics, Lauren found herself back at square one with 0 technical skills and zero job prospects. So she created this company to help other women and minorities and people, I guess, as a whole. I don't know why I blocked there. To ignite their potential in tech. That's really amazing. I don't know. She's really cool. I think she's really cool. Then our next one, I think, is Stephanie So. Yep. So Stephanie So is the co-founder of Geek. It's spelled GEEQ, which I thought was funny. Yeah. So she is the co-founder and currently their chief development officer. She is vastly experienced. She's a vastly experienced technologist and economics expert. She is known for, so in 2001, she was the first to use machine learning on social science data at the National Center for Supercomputing Applications. That's pretty big. That's pretty amazing. So she does stuff with blockchain, if I remember correctly. Let me see where it is. I have my notes all over the place. Sorry about that. So Stephanie, there you go. So it's a budding, the company that she co-founded is a budding blockchain startup backed by proprietary proof of honesty validation protocol, and it helps establish a secure platform for large-scale decentralized commerce. There's a quote that I'll link that. I'll also put that on one of the slides. But she said that she'll go outside of traditional boundaries to experiment with and find the tools that help me and get to the desired outcomes. I don't feel bound by tradition. In fact, I chafe at it. I'm a very nice, reasonably well-behaved rebel. And I thought that was really cool. She wants to empower other women to work in emerging tech because she feels like that's really important. And that she considers that one of her core motivating factors. Catherine Louise Boomin, or Bowman, I don't know how you pronounce her last name. So, yeah, right? That is incredible. So a lot of you might not know her name, but she is an American engineer and computer scientist who is working in the field of computer imagery. She led the development of an algorithm for imaging black holes. So you guys remember when like that internet picture, that picture on the internet showed up of like the first black hole? Yeah, she led that. She is one of the primary, she developed the algorithm that made that happen. Like crazy. So it's known as the continuous high resolution image reconstruction using patch priors, otherwise known as TERP. That's a cute name to give it. And she was a member of the Event Horizon Telescope team that captured the first image of the black hole. So she wrote the algorithm and she was a part of the team that captured the picture of it. So the California Institute of Technology, which hired her as an assistant professor in June 2019, awarded her a named professorship in 2020. So she is now a professor at CIT. She also went to Harvard University, or is thinking about transferring to Harvard University, I believe. Oh, no, yeah. So she went to, she studied electrical engineering at the University of Michigan. She got her master's degree in electrical engineering and computer science from MIT. And she was a part of the computer science and artificial intelligence laboratory while she was there. And where is it? After she got her PhD, she joined Harvard University as a postdoc fellow on the Event Horizon Telescope imaging team, which is when they captured the image of the black hole, which is, again, mind-blowing. I think she's the last one on the list. Okay, yeah, so she is the last one on the list. There's obviously way more women in tech than the ones that like I've put here. This is where all the sources are going to be listed. So it's going to be their names and then a list of resources that you can find about them. And then it's on this slide, and then the next slide, it's going to be where I found the information and other fun facts like stats and other women that you can look into and other things that have been created. Like, yeah. I'm blanking on what to say. But yeah, if you have any questions or you want to talk about it, definitely feel free. You're welcome. Yeah, I just felt like I was gonna break it up differently. Do we have any from our university? I'm sure there are. So at our university, I would put Dr. Fei Liu on the list if I like could do it. Like if I made just like a UCF professors type thing, I'd put Dr. Fei Liu. Dr. Gita Sukhthankar would go on the list too. Dr. Annie Wu. I think that's the only 3 women in the CS department that I know that like have their PhDs and that have done like pretty cool things in and I think they're experts in their field because I know Dr. Sukhthankar went to CMU and got her PhD from Carnegie Mellon. So she knows what's up. She's the one that teaches Intro to Robotics and Robotic Systems. She's also a sponsor for my senior design program, my senior design project. But yeah, I definitely put her on the list. And then Dr. Liu does summarization in NLP, and she does amazing research. Like that woman works so hard. And she still gets like all smiley and giddy when we have our lab meetings, and it's just like really amazing. I don't know. I can look it up real quick if you want, but other than like the professors, I don't know any that have, let's see, maybe. Yeah, so I can't, I don't. I looked up women in tech at UCF and all that came up were ACM events, like at UCF. So I think I need to look up something else. It's kind of funny. Yeah, I think that's all I have for the list of women.